Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Studio 12. Matt and Will with you here from the south end zone of Kyle Field. Back for more, week 4, Tori Vidales.
Bars.
What does that mean? Does that mean I rhymed?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know all these fancy terms, Sarah. I can't
Learn
figure this
it, you
out.
learn it.
Yeah, I just left me in outer space. Bars.
As usual.
As usual.
I caught that.
The still-to-be-named segment featuring Tori Vidales, Aggie Softball, week 4 of the episode here on The Zone. And Sarah Hudek, your guest today. You've talked her into this. How much advance notice did you get on this one? About 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Just about.
No, it was funny
Does that mean
because
the entire team turned it down? And
Yes.
Sarah just said,
no,
"Oh,
I mean
I
today's
was just the last
pretty
option.
hectic because we're traveling, so we got to get all of our stuff in before. But I texted her and I was like, "Hey, can you do the radio show?" And she was like, "Yeah, what time?" And for some reason I put 11:45 and I meant 10:45, and so then she was like, "Oh, well, yeah, let me run to the mall real quick." And I was like, "No, like it's in 15 minutes." And I went back and scrolled up. I was like, "Oh, wait, I meant 10:45, ... And it was like 10:30. So she was like, "Oh God, okay, I can make it."
Get out of the mall. Get
know.
in studio.
What a perfect excuse to go shopping. It's a travel day, right? You need to get some stuff to wear in California. and all
Exactly.
that.
You got to be looking
The
good, look good,
necessities.
play good.
Right.
Aggie softball folks on the road for the first time this season. They leave today, as you heard Tori say. They go to the Mary Nutter Classic in Cathedral City, and they will get tested. It is going to be a big-time tournament for the Aggies. 5 games starting tomorrow. Long Beach State, the first opponent. Number 1 Florida State following that. Number 21 Arizona State, number 23 BYU, and number 14 Michigan on the slate, Will. So pretty easy little
strength of schedule points
yeah.
coming.
Pretty little easy rotation here. Tori, I'll start with you since Sarah's never played in this tournament. This is a tournament you're familiar with. You've played with it several times. How fun is it to play in a tournament like this where the results matter, but they don't necessarily end your season? Like, is it a great litmus test to find out where you guys are at here after 10 games?
Oh, definitely. I would say this tournament is probably the best tournament for college softball in general. Like, everyone loves coming to the Mary Nutter just because you face the best of the best. And even if you don't play, like, 4 ranked teams like we do, I mean, you're still playing people that are going to prepare you for that conference play since, I mean, it's going to be on us before we know it. So, personally, I think we always play great teams when we go to Palm Springs, and I think it's a great test for us because even though we face the best of the best every single weekend, it never hurts to get a new view on other teams and just see some new stuff and see new players and teams and just be ready for really anything when it comes to postseason.
Yeah, Sarah, for you, first year of D1 softball at this level, I mean, how excited are you to go out there and take a crack at some of these teams? Because you guys are in that, I mean, you're ranked higher than 2 or 3 of these guys you're playing. So how excited are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited. I've heard, like, nothing but good things about this tournament. Obviously, the level of competition is top tier. So, I mean, you're going to see the best of the best. And it's really going to kind of give us a better view of what we need to work on heading into SEC as well as kind of prepare for the postseason. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a really good test for us. And I think kind of our game plan going into it, I think we're going to be pretty prepared.
Yeah, 10 games in, no defeats yet, Tori, so we can all look at that and say it's going quite well.
Yeah.
But throw the results out. Just within this team, how is it coming along? Are you progressing like you want to? And, again, I realize I'm asking that with a 10-0 record standard.
Yeah. I would say we started off a little bit slower than I think we would have liked, but at the same time, I think we're progressing with each game. So I think that's important. As long as we're making progress towards the ultimate goal, I mean, I don't feel like we have to come out guns hot the very first tournament or even the second tournament. I feel like that's something you need to peak at the right time. And so I feel like we're on the right track right now with that. But I think we'll really be able to test ourselves with just how we fight and how we're really able to win games. I mean, a win is a win. If it's ugly, still a win in the column. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you win. It just, can you win? So I think being up against these teams is going to really show us the fight and just the grit that we're going to have and that we're going to need, even when our skills, per se, aren't really coming through as strong as we would like them to.
Yeah, Sarah, for you, you know, one thing when we talked to Joe Evans before the season, your coach, about, you know, the team, and she kind of gave us the breakdown of who could do what, and we talked to her last weekend, and she said, you know, I think you're seeing what we had talked about, meaning she knows her team so well, and you're starting to see that come out. You kind of see that with you see this team throughout fall and then in the spring practices. after the first couple of weeks, you starting to see the things you thought this team was really good at? You starting to see them come out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, definitely our offense has been known to be strong over the years with Glasgow's hitting program and all that. And, I mean, the team chemistry has been nothing but good. It's gotten stronger and stronger day after day. And, I mean, I think that's a vital tool in being successful, especially down the road. So, I mean, I think that we're going in the right direction, progressing. I mean, obviously, as Tori said, we're not where we want to be, but we're going in the direction that we want to be.
Sarah Hudek and Tori Vidales with us here on the Wednesday edition of Studio 12. Aggie softball getting ready to participate in the Cathedral City, Mary Nutter Cathedral City Classic out in Palm Springs over the weekend. Now, Sarah, I got to ask you about this one here. This one has already gotten a triple and has stolen a base. Has she? And you have a pretty incredible arm out there in right field. Has she tested you any in practice? Is she too scared to run on you?
I don't think she'd want to run.
Wow.
She hasn't tried it yet.
The challenge has been laid down.
You're right.
Before you guys leave, can we put Tori on third, you in the outfield, and we just hit a fly ball, a little sack fly situation, and just see what happens?
Sack fly on the warning track?
Well, I don't know. It depends on who's hitting fungo. If Matt and I are hitting it, we may not get out of the infield. That's a disadvantage for
Can we just
Tori.
throw it?
I know, right?
That works.
Yeah.
Well, and two, we usually do it to where whenever infield's like
we do all the
fielding,
running.
yeah, the outfield does a lot of the running just because it's kind of hard to do outfield without an infield. But it just depends on how we do stuff that day. But I've never been on the bases when she's in the outfield. So
Well, we got to set that up. I know people.
Yeah.
Let's try to make that happen.
don't tell Coach
When challenges are laid down.
Don't
we
watch
can't,
this. Don't.
Yeah, we can't
Coach
let
Evans,
it go
if you're
when
watching,
challenges
let's
are
not
out
do
there.
that.
Just how enjoyable has the first year been thus far? Because we talk about 10 games in, and people think that's early, but all that you go through just to get to the first pitch of the season is incredible. How is year one with this team, Sarah?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't really know. I had kind of an idea of what it was going to be like, but, I mean, I still was kind of going in blind, especially being, like, my first year in softball, especially, like, at this level. And, I mean, it's business, but, I mean, as well, it's having fun playing the game. And, I mean, I think we really do that, and we really take pride in really getting the hard work done, but at the same time appreciating the game and having fun with our friends and creating bonds. I mean, you're going to have for the rest of your life. And, I mean, I'm happy to be where I'm at, and it's been a great time so far, and I feel like it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about playing and having fun, because that's one thing I think Coach really harps on. You, in the first weekend of your collegiate career, have that big hit against, I think it was Ohio State, when you cleared the bases, you come up pumping your fist, let's go,
She was
let's
doing
go.
that at me.
And then this one, when you scored the run to go ahead against Lamar, did the same
yeah.
thing at home plate.
Heck yeah, I did.
Talk a little bit, Sarah, about where you kind of get that. Where's that competitive fire come from, the energy when you're having such a good time? And where does that come from inside you?
I mean, I've always been a competitive person, even from games to just, like, little things, like, when I'm driving, I hate, like, when people try to pass me,
She's
it bothers me.
I'm going to get him. I'm like,
It's like,
Sarah,
it's like,
slow down.
oh, it's like I want to be first. But
Driving to
hate-
school,
guilty.
Driving to school is not necessarily a race. You
True.
don't have
In this
to
town?
turn it into that.
Oh, yeah,
I
no.
know, right? Shoot, got to
Yeah.
make them lights.
Exactly. But, I mean,
Only yellow lights, not red lights.
Yeah.
Exactly, not red.
We're advocating driver safety here on the show.
Good,
Well,
good.
Tori, for you, and you obviously show that on the field as well, but how fired up does that get you as a teammate when you see when your teammates get all pumped up like that?
It gets me. Okay, so Sarah, coming from like baseball and stuff, baseball players just play with so much raw emotion, and something good happens, like they're all gonna get out dugout, just like bang on their chest, and just like it's just that feeling that they get. And she was telling me a story about in select ball when something really great happened, like she scored a run. She was so pumped, and all the girls just kind of like looked at her. They were like, what are you doing? And like, I feel like I play with emotion. And so when stuff like that happens, I get so hype. And for a while, like, I feel like I would get really hype and no one would do anything. So I'd be like, okay, I'm just not going to do that. But then whenever she came and like in the fall games, I remember Caitlin made a really good play against the Pride, and she was like screaming in the outfield. She was like, let's go. And I turned around and I was like, let's go.
It's contagious.
Yeah,
like a chain reaction.
Yeah, so like whenever she gets so hype, it like makes me like want to just continue that. And like now whenever she gets a hit, we'll just like bang on our chest and like point at each other, just like, yeah, I see you. And when Erica made that catch, going into the wall, oh my god, that catch. We were both of us, actually the whole field was just like, yeah, let's go. We were all so hyped. So I think it's just fun to be able to do that and just let loose and not worry about are they going to think I'm crazy for doing this? Because I mean, I know Sarah will look more crazy than I will.
Probably.
Sometimes you got to dial it down and think about the situations, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, it depends because obviously if it's like something. Okay, so when we were playing Ohio State, we had bases loaded, and was that your first hit? No, it wasn't. It was like your second hit. So I mean, that is awesome, right? And you're winning, and the game is still. I think it was still early, right? In the game, pretty early.
It was relatively early in the game.
Yeah, so it's pretty early. So we
Sarah's
were jumping
like, I've
on
had
them.
so many hits at Josh.
I know, right? It's nothing, whatever. But it was just like the situation. Like it was so cool for her because it was like one of her first few hits, and it was such a big hit and a big situation, and we were able to get on them early. So stuff like that. But obviously, like Miranda Miles, one of our freshmen, she actually got her first hit this past weekend. And she hit it right back at the pitcher and just nailed her. And I felt so bad because, we couldn't cheer the way we wanted to. We couldn't be like, yeah, great job, Miranda, because the pitcher was, almost in tears because she was hurting, hit her really hard. And so, it was just cool that we were able to do that for Sarah, but I wish we could have done it for Miranda, too.
Well, guys, I know it's a travel day. We've got to get you out of here. I appreciate the time. Sarah, before we go, just one thing you want to see out of your teammates this weekend in Palm Springs, outside of victories, of course.
I mean, just to have a good mentality throughout the whole tournament, even if we're up by a lot or down by a lot. I mean, hopefully it's not down by a lot. But, I mean, just keep composure and just keep playing the game hard. Because, the game pays you back. It's a game of ups and downs. And, you have to keep that constant level. So, I think if we just stay consistent with everything, I think it's going to come pay us back in a good way.
All right. Well, appreciate the time, Tori. We'll have to get this one back in here.
Yeah.
For a longer session.
Just get her, have her. It's travel day. You got to get things going there.
We got to get loosened up, ready to go.
Get to Palm
ready to
Springs.
fly.
Exactly.
It's California, too. It's not
Get ready to take a long nap. True.
So, again, folks, the Aggies at the Mary Nutter Classic starting tomorrow, 5 o'clock here in town, Long Beach State, 7:30, number 1 Florida State. And then the rest of the weekend, a game on Friday against Arizona State. And then Saturday, BYU and Michigan. All pitches of the game on Willie 1550. Guys, have fun, safe travels, and we'll talk to you next week.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
be here.
All right,
you
Tori.
know I will be.